Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm a little stressed out, got a lot going on, but just breathing deep and slow and just doing what I can because that's all I can do.
That's awesome. Well, you wear stress very well because I don't think anyone would look at you and think that that's happening.
What is that, the duck thing? On the surface, the duck is just floating along, but underneath those little paddle, it's going crazy.
Isn't that funny? That's kind of the story of life, right?
Oofda.
As long as it looks smooth on the top side.
Cool and collected.
Yes, always. Well, good. So sorry to hear you're stressed, but I'm glad to hear that you're handling it.
I am. Yes. So I have a question. I've been thinking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
So are you a risk taker?
Well, it depends on the context of the risk, right?
Oof.
So roller coasters, no. Not for me, no thank you. I am not a risk taker. Business, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, yes. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, same. Don't put me on a roller coaster. My girls have before, and I thought I had to just to keep up. But then again, on a professional level, boy, it's fun. Mm-hmm. It's fun to take that risk when you have such a deep belief in what you do, and you just know it's going to be blessed and guided the whole way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Oofda.
Well, I'm excited about our topic today.
Yes.
And listeners, we're going to change things up just a little bit because today you actually get 2 verses and a Joyce Meyer devotional, and then we're going to go into the topic.
Nice.
So, Julie, you brought the verse, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3, and it says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans."
Yep.
Which is basically what you just said, right? In
True.
business, you take the risk and you just know that it's going to go.
Well, and that's also when I said I'm a little bit stressed out today, I have quit worrying. I just, every time something's coming up and it kind of worries me, I'm just like, okay, God, you have a plan for me.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the business decisions, this verse just popped out because to be honest with you, we have been in business now for almost 15 years together. And ever since we started this business, every day we've been blessed. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that works. And it's because of the belief system that we have and just knowing that we're doing the right thing. And this is God's plan.
I would agree with that for sure. Yeah, well, I came to you with, it is Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 3. And this one says, "For a dream comes with much business and painful effort, and a fool's voice with many words." Now, to go along with this, there is a devotional that I would like to read. It says, "Foolish people talk a lot about what they want out of life, but they don't always realize that dreams take time to develop and require lots of hard work and diligence. If you have a dream or a goal for your life, and I pray that you do, then I urge you to be committed and determined not to give up. Shooting star successes rarely last, but things that develop little by little and are accomplished with hard work and patience do last. The foundation-laying years of a successful business, ministry, or life are not necessarily exciting, but they are absolutely necessary if we want something to last. Dream big dreams. God is able to do more than we can ask, hope, dream, or think. So hold on to your dreams. Don't give up when you get weary or impatient. Endurance and steadfastness are the traits God looks for in his champions."
Wow.
Yep.
If that was today's devotional, it's just ironic how it was placed right in your lap.
It always is.
Yeah.
So last night, as I was preparing for this, this is what came across my feed.
Oh my goodness.
It always just shows up, God, because I've been using Patty's advice or Patty's basically her routine where I ask God, place me where you want me to be and show me that you see me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also kind of adopted the theory on worry, which not always, because sometimes it gets a little far away from me, but I always think, you know what, I'll worry about that tomorrow. And then when tomorrow comes, I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. And tomorrow keeps coming. So I just keep putting off that worry.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not supposed to worry.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to. And it's something that you have to sometimes dig really deep. Yep. Dig deep. And that doesn't matter if it's personal or professional. Right. It's everything that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about franchising.
Yay.
More specifically, the Apoca Home Care franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to actually start out with a little bit of a disclosure, just so that people understand that franchise offerings can only be made by the franchise disclosure document. And this information that we are telling you today, it's not intended for the purposes to offer us to sell or solicitation for you to buy. Basically, that can only be done through the franchise disclosure document. And so this is information. Right. So if you hear this and you want to learn more, that is something that we encourage you to reach out to us, and then we can start with those proper steps. But this is just informational. We want you to know about what franchising is and why we chose to go that route and why we think our franchise offering is exceptional.
Exactly.
If you want to go and look up our franchise website, you can do that at www.epagahomecarefranchise.com. It's a beautiful site that Alyssa put together for us, and by put together, I want to say slaved and worked really, really hard to develop for us. So it wasn't an easy thing that just got put together.
She makes us look good. I always say that. Just
she does.
Incredibly talented person in our lives.
Well, and she makes it look so easy.
Oh, my word.
And it isn't. It takes a lot. So first of all, what is a franchise?
Right.
So I looked it up, and this is basically the easiest way to define it. A franchise or franchising is a method of distributing products or services involving a franchisor, which would be us, and the franchisor establishes the brand's trademark, trade name, business system, and a franchisee purchases that business model, essentially.
Right.
So we decided that we've been in this business, as you said, for almost 15 years, and we've always talked about growth. We've always talked about, wanting to be in more places, and we decided to go with the franchise model.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. Why did we do that?
Right. Well, the biggest thing is if we are going to have branch offices in Montana, let's say, Montana's really, really big. So if we had something going on in Billings or Bozeman, Hamilton, and something happened that we needed immediate attention, it would take us a long time to get there. And it would be just one of those things where you just wouldn't feel that there was that connection and the oversight that we love to have to make sure that everything is going really smooth.
Yeah, it's kind of that skin in the game thing. And I look at it like we have worked tremendously hard to put this business together, and it matters to us deeply that we do a good job. And yes, we could open some location offices if that's what we elected to do. But in really evaluating it's a couple things, and you and I have talked about it a lot. Not only is it a situation where if somebody has skin in the game or it's owner operated and you feel like they're making decisions as though their life depends on it, because their life actually does depend on it.
Right.
Basically, it's also an opportunity for people.
Right.
It's an opportunity for someone to buy into a business model and get this, millions of dollars. We sat down at one point and added up all of the education and all of the training and everything that we have invested into this.
Yeah.
And it was millions of dollars.
Oh, so it was stunning to actually look at that number, and not besides just the money, but the hours and hours and your guts go into it, because you have to make it just run so smoothly.
Yeah.
So just the brain power and all of that, it's been a labor of love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, why wouldn't we want to just have location offices? Because we want somebody else to have opportunity, and we want the person that has that servant's heart, to be able to come in and do something in their community and really, really make a difference. And then, provide meaningful employment. And we just feel like, or we have always felt like that owner operator model, it just serves our mission a little bit better than opening branch offices.
Oh,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically someone comes in, they say, I want to buy an Apoca home care franchise. I want to get started in Billings, Montana. What do they get when they're doing that? Well, like we just said, millions of dollars that we have invested in creating our processes, our systems, our training. And that is all part of that package deal. And it doesn't cost $1 million for someone to have access to that. Right. And then basically the brand recognition. Right. And you just had an experience a week or two ago. You were down in Missoula, and tell us about that.
Yeah, well, when we were going to get the Bitterroot, Missoula area going, we just hit every town and just brought out flyers. We had it in the newspaper. Where else did we have it? We just every pharmacy, the Agency on Aging's, other home care agencies. I mean, we just talk to our competition like that and say, hey, how can we work together? And basically there was a lady that called then just yesterday, and she was like, oh my gosh, you guys are everywhere. I saw you at the pharmacy and I saw you at the hospital. It's like, oh, dang, I did a good job.
It does work. So we
did a great job out
brand
there.
recognition. Yeah. And that's kind of the idea behind it is basically we already have an established brand and we work really hard to create content around that brand that is professional and beautiful, in my opinion. And so basically you go down there, you start talking about Apoca home care, sharing our information, and people start seeing it everywhere. And that's one of the benefits of buying into a franchise system. And then also, I think, again, we kind of said it's about a 3 to 5 year head start with everything that we have developed and in place. Yeah. So versus just starting a business from the ground up. Can it be done to start from the ground up? Absolutely. We did it. But does it make more sense to invest a little bit, have all of this training, have all of this experience, and not have to essentially recreate or reinvent the wheel?
Oh my gosh. And your feet hit the ground and you're going.
And you're already going and you have that, you know what you need to know. Obviously we learn something new every single day. And then we internally are continually innovating and trying to make our processes better and the offering better. But how nice to just know that, you know what, I literally have a roadmap of what I need to do to get out there and start serving my community.
Yeah. And what's really neat about us is being in rural Montana, we pretty much have a niche because there are a lot of home care agencies out there. I know you have some statistics you're going to bring up, but honestly, not all of them are fit for that rural area. Right. And we have been successful in that area. So that's something we're very, very proud of.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to help our friends and our families in Montana. Yeah. And we've proven that it can be done. Not just that it can be done, but it can be done exceptionally well. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So basically, then we wanted to talk a little bit about what are we looking for in a franchisee. Right. So obviously, capital, money, investment, that is a piece of the pie. So you have to be able to have enough to invest into it to get it up and going. You know, it'll take a couple months to really get established and get your client hours up. But that is not all we are looking for, right? We're not looking for the person that can come in and write $1 million check to buy into this unless they have the desire and the heart to be able to go out and serve their community, fill a shift if they need to, provide a service that's lacking. So
be in the day-to-day.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So within EPAGA Home Care, we actually have some big words. We have our tenets, our culture, and our values. So I'm just going to briefly explain those. Yeah. So a tenet is like the 10 Commandments. It's a principle, belief, or doctrine generally held to be true, especially when held in common by members of the organization, movement, or profession. So our tenets, which we live by, is family first, doing what's right, even when it's not convenient, and innovation always. So those are really important things.
Absolutely.
To live by.
The reason that I'm in this line of work at all is just because of my family.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Culture is how we make our decisions and live our lives. Something like a principle or a quality intrinsically valuable or desire. And those core values that we hold true are our dependability, our honesty, accountability, respect, and our commitment to serve. And then our core values are, I think I said that backwards.
Yep.
We have the core values, but then we have our culture is who we are and how we make people feel within our business, both with our caregivers and our clients.
Yes. How many times do we get people that walk through the door of this office and just say, it just feels different?
I love
it just
that.
feels good. I feel like I'm home.
Every time somebody comes in and says that, I'm just like,
yes, that's exactly what we're going for.
Where we were going.
What about, oftentimes I'll even get that on a phone call. I'll answer the phone and, start in a conversation, and people will just stop you and say, it just feels different talking to you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to teach and ingrain in the people that are on board with us and come on as franchisees.
Yeah.
We want to, because don't they say, there's a quote somewhere about, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget the way that you made them feel.
Right.
And that's a big deal to us.
That's home care. It should be anyway.
For sure.
However, we have dealt with other agencies. And I've talked to people on the East Coast and different areas. There are home care agencies that don't have this culture that we're talking about. And what a shame.
I'm always alarmed when I hear about things that go on, and not a lot here in this community. Occasionally I'll hear things, and probably people hear something about me. But anyway, yeah, I'm always just shocked at the approach that is taken in home care in other areas, where it's more of a business transaction, and that's not what we want. No. We want that mom and pop feel. We want people to know that they're a part of our community, they're a part of our family, that we're not just there to collect the paycheck, so to speak, from them.
And they're valued.
They are absolutely.
They mean something to us.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about what makes us better.
Okay.
Because there are lots of franchise systems out there. There are lots of home care, staggering number, honestly.
Yeah.
And so we talk about, I love the quote, and I learned it from you, and that is, we suffer from high self-esteem.
People always laugh because I'll tell people, I'll just say, I just happen to know that we're the best in town, and and they just laugh, and they love that because they want to know that we're confident.
Yes.
We're confident in what we do and how we serve others.
Yeah. I love that. So, to get kind of on the technical things. So we have a proprietary training, right? We have the Apoca accredited caregiver training. And that is something that every employee that comes on board with us, and subsequently franchisees, are provided with this training to basically train to our standards.
Yep. Learn
our systems, our values, our culture, our expectations, specific to the Apoca home care.
So not just we looking for franchisees to be like-minded like us, it bleeds into then who our employees are, who our caregivers are. And that's that training that you're talking about.
Yep. Then we have the grandma test.
I love the grandma test.
Yes.
Boy, do we have grandmas that we just cherish.
Absolutely.
And honestly, when we are hiring somebody, and this, again, is not just our franchisees, but this would also be our employees. If I can't hire you because I don't feel comfortable sending you to my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, or my aunt, I can't hire you.
Yeah.
Simply, that is number one. Number one, because it's about trust. And if the families that are hiring us can't trust us because they have a feeling, then it's just not going to work.
Well, and it's an easy decision for us because, ultimately we go through all of these background checks and screenings and national and state and county and all of these things that we do. But at the end of the day, what I find the most comfort in is, would I send this person to take care of my grandma? And if the answer is no, then why would we hire them and place them with somebody else's grandma?
Yeah.
So anyway, grandma test. We have established systems continually. We're innovating always. We just always want to pioneer new processes. And I think about back when we first got our electronic visit verification system, ClearCare, that we work with for scheduling.
Yes.
And I think I might get fact checked on this, but I am pretty certain that we were the first agency in the state of Montana to do that. And we did that long before regulations ever said that we had to.
Yeah.
Because we wanted that accountability piece. And so, yeah, I'm excited that we're always looking to innovate and make easier processes. It helps having Alyssa here because she's really smart in a lot of ways. And so she can help us with those things. But that's a big part of what a person gets when they buy a franchise from us is how do we do things?
Right.
What systems do we use?
And it's become a way of life, truly. I have to go back to when I was down in the Missoula Bitterroot area with Jessica. And as we would go into an area and there would be posters and flyers and all of that, I was always perusing and looking and reading papers. And she just watched me as she could just see that I had gotten an idea of something that we might be able to take and work and to make ourselves better, because that's what we're always doing is besides coming up with new stuff, we're just, what are we doing that we could do better?
Yeah. Well, yesterday is a prime example for me. I had a meeting with a gentleman and he had a folder that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to take a look at that because that could be something that we could use for our client intakes. It makes it really, really simple. And yeah, we're just always, those ideas are just constantly.
Yeah. Streamlining to make it even easier because we don't like our processes to take forever.
Yeah, we don't want exhaustive processes. We want efficient. That is something that I strive for every day. Some days I'm better at it than others. Okay, we talked about the rural market and, basically having a protected territory, things like that. We know that we have proven that this model works in a rural setting. Yeah. And when we went through and did our territory mapping, we really spent a lot of time putting together information from our area and then went out to look at other markets and say, okay, we have to replicate what we're doing and what do those markets look like? And so then we were able to identify and be confident about what we're telling people, the availability to earn the revenue that they want to be able to earn and things like that.
Based on age, population, all of those things.
Yes.
One thing that I'm going to say right now is, holy cow. I never in my life, besides starting a business from ground up and having the number of employees we have through the years and having to just do all that, then to take and start another business upon the business of franchising. And I never knew I'd want to know any of this stuff. And it has been quite the ride.
Yes.
But it only makes us better every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like we learn something new every day for sure.
Yeah.
Basically, somebody that comes on with one of our systems, they're going to get initial training. They're going to get ongoing training. Right. Essentially, our philosophy is that failure is not an option in this, because if a franchisee fails, that means we've failed. Yep. And we don't ever want someone set up not to succeed. So it's just not an option.
Once again, I go back to us being different. We've done so much research in so many areas. We even talked to other franchisees of different businesses and said, what do you really like about being a franchisee and what do you really not? And we listened.
Yes.
Because those are the things. If they said they hated this or this or this, man, we're not going to do those things. Yep. We're not going to put ourselves through that heartache, that headache, because we know better, right? Because we listen to these people. And what's really interesting is how much, 99% of the time, it all boils down to communication. Yeah. Just being there for people and supporting them. And we're excited. You said failure isn't an option. Absolutely. Oh my word. And so what are we going to do to work as a team to get everybody where they want to be?
Right. Yep. Then the other thing is the investment amount. So currently on our franchise disclosure document, the range is anywhere from $82,900 up to $131,950. And I do need to stress again that is based on our current FDD document. And that is subject to change. But again, as we said in the beginning, that franchise offerings can only be made through that franchise disclosure document. It does get reviewed annually. So we have to continually be updating it, make sure that we're in compliance with regulations, whether that be state, federal, whatever need be. So the investment range, I was looking at those numbers and I'm like, you almost can't even buy a truck for $82,000 anymore.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
but you can buy a
know.
business and get a really great jump start on it. Crazy. Any other thoughts on what makes us better? I mean, I know there are a million things, but those were sort of the key things that came to mind.
Well, the key things. Look at this. Look at us. This comes with the whole package. Who wouldn't want to work with us?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. How do you add to that?
Right.
Then I think it's important to talk about some of the reasons why it would be, why would you want to own an Apoca franchise? Right. So always, the first thing that comes to my mind is that opportunity to serve your community.
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. It's not just serving clients. It's providing employment opportunities for meaningful work.
Oh, one of my favorite things that you do every year is at the end of the year when you're doing all of the tax stuff and all that icky stuff that you do, and you come into my side of the office and you say, this is what our impact to the community was because of the employees and the salaries that they made here. And what a source of pride. Because to be honest with you, I never thought I'd be doing this.
Yes.
Where the impact is not just the love and the concern and the care that we give our clients, but then to our employees, that they are making a meaningful employment. And it's just thrilling. Yeah. Absolutely thrilling to me.
I agree. I am always just blown away when I look at the end of the year number and say, oh my gosh, this is what we paid in wages in our community and what a difference that made for somebody. Lots of somebody's.
Yeah. And then, okay, what are we going to do this year to do more?
Yes, always. Being your own boss and kind of taking control of your own future. Big benefit there. We talked a little bit about just the growth opportunity and the brand recognition that already exists and how we help you when you open to come into your community and really, make a big fuss, I guess.
Right. Yeah. One of the things I do want to go back on and clarify is you had brought up some numbers. That is not the buy-in number. That is the capital, right? That you need to have for
the 82.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the range that it will take to get going.
Yes.
That is not the franchise fee. I think that's what
I'm
you're
talking
asking
about.
Okay. Yes. It is not the franchise fee. That is the total amount of money that it would take you to get started. With paying your franchise fee, with getting your insurances in place, with, there's a range of everything. And we lay out, at least based on what we experienced, this is what it cost us to get going in these areas. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. They are two different things. The franchise fee is part of that total overall number.
I just didn't want anybody to think that it was that much to get
just the franchise,
to get started on that portion of it.
Yeah, no, that is a range that should cover everything, franchise fee, and then all of the startup costs.
Gotcha. And
have a little bit in the bank to be able to pay a salary for the first month or two while you're getting out there and getting that business going.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up. That was a smart thing to do. Positive reputation. For the most part, I mean, I have ticked off a person here or there along the way. But I think the overall reputation is pretty darn positive.
Well, and something that you hadn't brought up, and I'm very, very proud of you, is that through some of the programs that we are involved with, you're on a state level committee.
Yes.
And so when it comes to that branding, we're not kidding.
Right.
We're out there. We've won state awards before for a recognition of our word. So there are so many things that people can glom onto and we'll help them do that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've always taken the position that we don't just want to better ourselves. We want to better everybody around us. So some of those things, like that committee that I'm on now, is just a work group, a rate work group for one of the programs that, state programs that pays for some home care, non-medical in-home care. But basically, while I do want to see rates increase for us, I want to see rates increase for everybody.
Yeah.
So the work that we do overall is not just to benefit you and me.
Right.
Or you and me and Kevin.
Yeah.
Or you and me and Kevin and Mike. Or, I mean, it goes so much farther beyond that. We all rise together is how I see it.
Right.
Yeah. We talked about not having to reinvent the wheel.
Yep.
Right. So why would you want to start completely over if you can invest a little bit into a business and get everything in a nice little package put together for you?
And that support. We're there every step of the way.
Yep.
We've been there. We've done that. We've been doing this not only within the Apoca world of almost 15 years. Prior to that, with our experiences that we've had, we have truly, like I said, been there, done that. Let us help you to grow and not hit that certain wall because we've hit it.
Yeah. What is that? There's a quote out there, something about, if you try and fail or something like that, if it's not working out for you, why don't you go back and try doing it the way your mom told you to start with? And I think about that with home care. It's like, okay, you can go over here and you can do it your way and you can struggle and fumble through it, or you can go, hey, why don't I connect with somebody that has a really great reputation and good brand recognition and the system already in place? Maybe that sounds like the better option.
I love that.
Yeah. We talked about the protected territory and how we arrived at that.
Yep.
Worked with an IntelliView, I think it was, that helped us put that together. And so I'm super confident in that data.
Oh, that was a cool process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was neat to look at the final results and everything that everybody else in the world does. I'm like, that's magic. I don't understand how that works. I know what we do and I know the things that I'm pretty good at. But yeah, everybody else's job. So that mapping stuff, and it's just data. It's just,
So really, truly, to summarize where we're at with this, you do have to have a servant heart. You do want to have that agape love, and because that is what's going to happen. When we first started this business, I truly thought it was going to be all rainbows, unicorns, butterflies. It's not,
right?
But no business is.
Right.
There's good days and there's better days.
There are rainbows.
Yes.
There are butterflies.
There are.
No unicorns.
Oh.
There are some butt kickings. I mean, if we're going to be honest, but like you said, that happens with everything.
Yeah.
So I just love that, for us in the almost 15 years that we've been doing there has not once ever been an obstacle that we ever even remotely thought we couldn't overcome.
Right.
And we do a lot. We have a lot of humor in this business and try to share that with other people. We understand the value of bringing joy.
Oh, and bad jokes.
Always.
That's
bad
my
jokes.
department.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to keep up with you on that, but I'm just not quite there yet. Yeah. So maybe we should talk just briefly about the process.
Okay.
To purchase. So basically, again, reminder, franchise disclosure document is the only way that this really truly an offering can be made. But if you're interested and you want to learn more, really it starts out with, we start to get to know you, you start to get to know us, and we have some conversations. At some point in time, there would be more of a formal video type call. Or we could do it in person if someone wanted to come here to Kalispell, or maybe we need to trip somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, so have kind of more of a formal meeting. There would be a review of that franchise disclosure document. There are some time frames that have to happen with that. After the FDD is reviewed or received by a potential franchisee, nothing can happen with it for at least 14 days because it really is a consumer protection. And we don't want anyone to come on board with us that doesn't really truly believe in what we're trying to do and want to be a part of this or understand. It's not an easy industry to be in, right? But so that grace period gives people time to really digest what's in there, get with their professionals, whether that's an attorney, an accountant, whatever. Right. Then after that, what we do is we would have a business plan presentation, which essentially the potential franchisee would come to us and say, this is our plan. This is what we want to do. And then we kind of hash it out, look over it, make sure that we're all working towards the same goal and that the culture and the values and everything align. And then there would be a discovery day here at the Apoca headquarters in Kalispell. That's where, you would come in and we kind of just show you around, walk you through, get to know each other face to face. And then, if all of that goes well and everybody decides that they want to move forward, it turns out to be a good match, then that franchise location would be awarded.
Yeah.
So it's, relatively easy process, but there is a lot of looking into each other to make sure, because it's a marriage.
It really is.
There is a term on it, and we want to make sure that, just as much as we want success for us, we want success for a potential franchisee. So we have to be very diligent in how we look into those things and confirm that it's a good match.
Yep. Like-minded.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little bit of capital and a whole lot of heart.
There you nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a really great summary of what we're in the middle of.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we shared this information because we're really excited to get more and more out there. We've just truly, from the day one, wanted to do more, and we're in that position now. And so the thing that I always stumble on a bit is it takes longer than I'd like.
Yes.
Because there's such a need out there for home care, good home care.
Yes.
And so
Agree.
that's who we are, is exceptional home care. And we just want to share the opportunity of this business for people that want to be out there and be able to share the joy that we have every day.
Yeah. I love it. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Grandma saying, which is actually a Theodore Roosevelt saying.
I figured, wasn't he a grandpa at some point?
He must have been.
Yes.
Old age is like everything else. To make a success of it, you've got to start young. You crack yourself up. Cracks me up when you crack up. All right, listeners, if you haven't already, please go and subscribe. You can do that on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, YouTube. Check out our Apoca Care and Share Facebook group. Leave us a review. And if you want to send us a verse, an uplifting story, you can email those to thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com. That's it. So
just give them that franchise website again.
Oh, yes. The franchise website, www.epaga.homecarefranchise.com.
Go look at it.
Yeah. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good day.